Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first episode of Play Action Takes, presented by Guy Boston Sports. I am your host, Tasos Kilimos, joined by my co-host, Spencer Molkenthin. Our third co-host, Johnny Hardell, was not able to make it for the very first episode. In typical John Hardell fashion, absent when we need him most. Guys, welcome to Play Action Takes, our brand new NFL Pick'em show here on the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in and watching for our debut episode. You guys might know me. Obviously, I do H2H with Ev. I will be taking over college football picks. I've been on the channel for a little bit. I've been doing videos here and there. You guys may not know Spencer. Spencer's one of my best friends. This is not our first foray into podcasting. This is actually like the fourth evolution of the same show, basically. Like, this is a new show, but it's not really a new show. This is like I said, like the fourth sequel to the original show. But we've been doing podcasts together since what, Spence? 2018?
We were doing podcasting before podcasting was a thing, really. So, yeah, probably 2018. So before everybody had access to podcasting equipment, we were up there with the first.
Yeah, we were like the first white guys to ever like start our own podcast.
That's just not true.
Now it's the trend. Like every college white guy like who has a video camera like just makes a podcast. We did it before they did.
And then they throw it on TikTok, and they just every comment ever is, "Why does everybody have access to podcasting equipment?" Which is true, because not everybody underneath the sun needs a podcast. But we've been around the block for a while, so.
No, like I said, this isn't our first foray. We know what we're talking about. We're pretty knowledgeable football gentlemen, I'd say.
I'd say we're better than most. I say we're better than what's on ESPN right now.
But guys, just in case you guys have never watched our stuff before, we like to pick on each other. We like to go at it. Nothing's personal, so sometimes it'll get heated, especially me and Spence when we talk Pats Dolphins. It gets kind of heated. It's never personal. It's always for fun. And obviously when Johnny joins in, you'll see more of what I'm talking about starting next week. But guys, just to give you a little basic rundown for how this show is going to work, very simple. We're going to go game by game for the upcoming NFL week. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to keep our records for the whole season. And it's a competition at the end of the day. It's to see who is the smartest of the group, who can pick winners the best. And we'll be throwing in some gambling picks here and there across the show. Like, we'll have cash money bets is a segment we'll be doing, where during the pick'em segments, we'll obviously, if we like a bet in a certain game, we'll throw in there. We're keeping track of everything because we are competitive people, and we want to see who is the best. We have not come up with a punishment yet for Pick'em. We're still working on that. Obviously, if anyone has any suggestions, any ideas, sound off in the comments. And make sure to like and subscribe to the Guy Boston Sports YouTube channel. We just hit 30,000 subscribers not too long ago. We're shooting for 40.
Huge.
Help us get there. Spence, let's not waste any more time. Before that, do you have any suggestions for punishments? We've already ruled out no ass tats. That's already been determined. That's not going to happen.
That's just the go-to. But yeah, nobody ever follows through.
It used to be a go-to of ours.
Nobody follows through with the ass tats. Nobody follows through with the pinky bets. So I don't have any right now. I mean, I've wore the past jerseys. I've taken pictures and posted in them. So
I had the LeBron sticker on my car for
the LeBron sticker on the car is a good one.
Multiple years. It's finally gone thanks to getting it. I had to spend almost $40,000 to get it off, but it was worth it.
Bet.
All right. Without further ado, we'll figure it out. We'll think of something here for a punishment. But for now, let's get right into it. No time wasted. Starting off, because the NFL loves to screw us with these Thursday night games. We get the benefit of watching the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders in Washington, D.C. on Thursday Night Football. The football gods hate Thursday night, and so we get blessed with another horrible matchup. Spence, what are we thinking here? First pick'em pick of the season. Commanders, Bears, what a start.
So I'm just going to flash it back to last week real quick because the Commanders took it down to the W-word Commanders took it down to the wire with the Eagles. So my question is to you is why does Riverboat Ron not go for 2 right there when he knows for a fact that he's not going to beat the Eagles in overtime? And then he comes out with this bullshit statement saying that his offense is tired. Buddy, it's 3 yards.
I think it truly just didn't believe in his offense. I think that's really what it came down to. I don't think he had faith in his offense to make that play, which is crazy because they played really well all week long. Like, they should have won that game.
Yeah, and then the controversial call, like, he lands on the dude's forearms and his foot slides out of bounds, and then, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, like mathematically, there's got to be a better chance of you getting that 2-point conversion than winning in overtime. First of all, winning the coin toss against the Eagles and then winning in overtime. But
I don't think NFL coaches have the balls to go for, like, how many times have we seen that situation where, like, end of the game, you kick the extra point to send it to overtime, but you could go for 2 and win it. Very rarely do you see a team actually go for it.
It's never really like a winning franchise. It's always like that 2-12 team that's in the game against that top dog. Yeah, I mean they do have something to lose. They have a draft position to lose.
But who are you thinking here? Like, what is? I mean, I know it's a shitty game. It's not going to be fun to watch, but
Justin Fields was good for the first 2 quarters of last game against the Denver Broncos, but that defense is absolute jack shit. Besides Pat Surtain's second, so I'm just gonna not beat around the bush and just say Washington Commanders here. Honestly, they're 6.5-point favorites at home.
Yep.
It would be dumb for me to say the Bears. I got to see Justin Fields read a defense for 4 quarters before I even say his name. So, I mean, I just did, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm going Commanders. This is a spot, like, the gambling man inside of me is like, bet the Bears. You know this is a spot where they're going to make it interesting. I just can't confidently bet on this team, mainly because I don't know, Spence, if you follow the draft pick. I know the Dolphins are good this year, so you're not really looking at mock drafts yet or looking at draft orders yet. But right now, the Bears are projected to have the 1st overall pick and the 2nd overall pick in the draft because they have the Carolina pick.
Correct.
So with a draft loaded with talent, including Caleb Williams, because let's be honest, Justin Fields hasn't been that impressive. You could get Caleb Williams.
See, here's my thing: could you do the first ever double trade back? Could you trade back the 1st and the 2nd pick? You know how much of a load you get in for the 1st and 2nd overall pick?
That is true.
You build a whole team out of 2 drafts.
Yeah,
that is true. So if you trade back to the 5th and then the 9th pick, and then honestly, there's a lot of defensive talent coming in. The Bears' defensive side is not the greatest. I mean, I know they have not much talent, but you trade back to the 5th pick, maybe get Marvin Harrison Jr. as a target for Justin Fields. I would not draft Caleb Williams with Justin Fields as your quarterback. I'm not jumping ship this early, especially when you can just get so much return for the 1st and 2nd overall pick at this moment. But maybe.
Yeah. I just think the Bears
14 games, maybe Tasos. You never know.
But I just think the Bears have sucked at quarterback for so long, and I know there's no such thing as a can't miss prospect, but Caleb Williams feels like a can't. He feels like a can't miss prospect. And that's the thing. If you're the Bears and you haven't had a good quarterback in 100 years, this is your chance. It's staring you right in the face. And I know trading down, it makes sense logically. You could build your roster out completely. All right, moving on across the pond, we got the London Jaguars hosting the Buffalo Bills. I know it's actually the opposite way around. The NFL says the Bills are technically hosting the Jaguars, but let's be honest, this is London's team. The Jacksonville Jaguars. London's
Tottenham Jaguars.
Yep.
But this is my problem, right? So I looked at this game. I didn't look where it was located. I knew it was in London. But when I was making my picks, to bring in a spread to choose, you know how good Bills -5.5 at home looks against the Jaguars if it's in Buffalo?
Oh, absolutely. And the Jags have not looked that good.
The Jags have not looked good for 4 weeks. The Bills just absolutely obliterated the Dolphins in the second half.
Yep.
At home, coming off that high, that fan base, that atmosphere is one of the best in the NFL right now. But it is technically an away game because you're going to the Tottenham Jaguar Stadium.
And think about it this way, Spence. The Jaguars have now been in London for over a week, right? There's no jet lag, there's no travel. They've already been there. They didn't it's such an advantage the NFL gave them, the fact that they just got to stay in London. They didn't have to leave. They already played in London. They've been there. The jet lag will be gone. They'll be used to the time zone change. They'll be nice and rested. And the Bills, on the other hand, are going to be jet lagged. They're going to be tired off their ass. We've been in London. We know what it's like over there. It's a fun time. The Bills, maybe a little partying over there across the pond. They won't, they could coming off a big win. They may not be on their best game against the Jaguars, who, when they're in London, they're a different animal. An absolutely different animal.
Honestly, yeah, you're correct. Because I don't know what London's like from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.-ish. So I don't know how the game atmosphere is going to be at that time. But, yeah, It's the Jaguars' hometown. They should probably just pick up and move their whole stadium out there. We got way too many teams in Florida, so imagine
Yeah,
that home
I don't get why
advantage.
they're not there already. They have such a
Imagine
fan
that home
base over
advantage.
there.
You just need people to fly across the pond to come play you.
Yeah, I mean
I get
the opposite is true too, though. When you have away games, but like really, you just have to have a home stand. Like you have 3 or 4 games in a row at home, and then you'll have 4 games on the road, and it's like it's
right,
really not that bad. You have 1 or 2. You have a couple weeks across the season where like when you're traveling across continents, it'll be a
right.
little tricky. But like, do they really have that big of a following in Jacksonville that they were staying? Like I feel like a move to
Dude, their
London
franchise
is
is what,
so much
23
better.
years old, 24 years old.
Yeah.
All those fans are. You got some real fans down there. I don't know, probably not.
They are the diehard ones are, but I feel like in London they would love a football team,
right.
and the
Realistically,
Jaguars
what
are
are
their
Jaguars
team.
fans? Ex Tampa Bay fans?
Yeah,
Is that
basically,
what they are?
I guess.
I don't know what a Jaguars fan would entail. I've never seen one in my life. So
No, you have to go into Jacksonville, and even then you may not see that many.
right. So basically, honestly, I think if you bring a football team over to London, you basically probably quadruple their fan base.
You dominate the market. You're the only NFL
Right.
team over there. Like you would dominate the market. You would have no competition over there, except obviously for the real football, soccer. But yeah, I'm going Jaguars, and that's actually my cash money bet. One of my first cash money bets here on the show. I'm going Jaguars money line plus 195. Let me just make sure that's the. We're recording this a little early. Yeah, on DraftKings you can get that at plus 195. I just think that this is just a great spot for Jacksonville to bring up an upset. And from a gambling perspective, the Bills are red hot. They've won 3 games in a row in absolute blowouts. And obviously, you beat a team
Right,
like
for 20
Miami,
bucks.
who was America's sweetheart for the first 3 weeks of the season, and you crushed them. Everybody now all of a sudden is going to jump on Buffalo's bandwagon again. And I think this is a big letdown spot. The Jaguars, they have not looked good, but this is a chance for them to kind of get right. So I'm going to go Jaguars here.
I like that pick. Honestly, if I was willing to take Jaguars money line, I would probably take money line. But Jaguars plus 5.5 seems really safe. It would be tough for a team to fly across the pond, and then for a team that's already been there for 2 weeks to cover a spread that's 5.5. So, yeah,
You're going Jaguars in the pick 'em here?
I am going. No, I'm going Bills in the pick. But
No balls. No
if I
balls
was
whatsoever.
a betting man, I would take Jaguars plus 5.5.
All right, that's fair. No balls, but it's fine. All right, let's get this out of the way quickly so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it because I could go for hours on this subject. We got Pats Saints 1 p.m. game in New England. The Patriots are dead. This team sucks. As a diehard Patriots fan, I can honestly say this team is hot garbage. Matthew Judon probably done for the year.
Christian
Gonzalez probably done for the year. So you have 2 of the best players on the defense gone. This offense is horrendous. Mac Jones, I lost all faith in him in that Dallas game. It will never happen. Bill Belichick will never allow it to happen. But this team should just tank now. You're already 1-3. You're nowhere near the rest of the AFC powerhouse teams. I'm going Saints here on the pick'em, and actually, this is one of my cash money bets. Also, Saints money line plus 105. I hate betting against my own team, but I'm so frustrated and so upset with this Patriots team.
Here's my counter offer to you though. The fact that they might march out Derek Carr for a second week in a row with a bad throwing shoulder. He looked atrocious for 4 quarters last week. It would be a cash money bet if they marched out Jameis Winston though. Because honestly,
what is their problem with him? Like, why do they not put Jameis Winston out there? I don't understand.
I don't know what he did. No idea.
Did he sleep around with like a coach's wife? Like, I don't.
Here's the thing. It's very reasonable for you to be like Derek Carr's throwing shoulder is fucked up. Let's just put Jameis out there for 2 weeks so Derek Carr can nurse his shoulder back to health, and then we'll go back to Derek. Jameis is not going to go 0-3 in these 3 games. Well,
No.
they're already 0-1 in the 3 games, but he wouldn't lose you all 3 games. Derek Carr with a fucked up shoulder might lose 10 of the last how many games? 13 that there's left because of his shoulder. And
it was a missed opportunity because it was a revenge game. It was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers revenge game for Jameis Winston. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, you see the Khalil Mack revenge game this weekend?
I did see that. We'll get to that in a little bit. He was
yeah,
that was
I'm gonna
bad.
go Patriots at home though, Tasos. I know you don't want them to win, but if they put out Derek Carr, I don't think he can throw much on that defense, even without Christian Gonzalez and without Matthew Judon. You know, I'm always a man of Billy B having some defensive scheme that just slows down offenses. So
I just hate it because it's like, what is the purpose? I know Belichick's not the guy. He will never tank. But like, especially if Judon and Gonzalez didn't get hurt, I'd be like, all right, whatever. It was another bad game. Let's see what happens this week. But like the fact that you're not going to have those two, like really, what is the point now? Like even if you do string some wins together, this defense
There's no
now,
point.
this defense now loses like your best pass rusher and your best defend corner are both gone. Like those were two of the only really positives we've had the first month of the year, and those are gone now. And like
you're basically taking the red pill if you continue to win. You're just gonna be.
We're gonna go 6-11 or 7-10. We'll miss the playoffs, and we're not gonna have a top 10 draft pick. It's just and that's why like I never bet against my own team here, but I'm taking them just for the sole purpose. I want them to lose. I want them to keep losing, pile them up. Right now, if the season ended, the Patriots would have the 7th overall pick, which is fine by me. This is a loaded draft class. I'll take it.
It is loaded.
I'll take it. So I'm going Saints on the pick'em and my cash money bet, my second one of the day. I'm going Saints money line. It's only like plus 105, but the spread's only like plus 1 right now. So like you're gonna, my thing is if it's a 1 point spread, I might as well just take the money line at that point. Like I don't think they're gonna lose by 1. Like I think the Saints will come out and win. Even if I'd feel a lot better if Jameis Winston was playing, but I think even with Derek Carr, I think he'll be able to beat. The Patriots offense sucks.
I think if the Saints announce Jameis Winston, that might go minus 2.5 towards the Saints. I'm not gonna lie.
With a banged up Derek Carr, I guess the Patriots could sneak out a win. I hope they don't. But moving on to the next game here, Spence, this one is for you. We got Giants at Dolphins in Miami, the 1 o'clock game. I'm going to start off before I let you have the floor. You hate me a little bit for that Broncos-Dolphins game. One of the worst takes I've ever given out was I said the Dolphins were going to win. It was a letdown spot, and they had one of the most historic beatdowns of all time against Denver. I had the same argument again this week. I was right. I said I bet Bills money line. I mean, Bills minus 3 because they were a favorite. I bet Bills minus 3, and I said on H2H, I said the Bills were going to win this week, and they're probably going to win by a decent amount. They did do that. However, they're playing a Giants team. Now, we record on Monday night, so obviously we don't know what happened with the Giants-Seahawks game at the time of recording. But from what I've seen the first 3 weeks, the Giants don't look that great. The Dolphins, I still think, are a top 5 NFL team, regardless of that loss against Buffalo on Sunday. Give me Dolphins here in a pick 'em. I think that they're going to get a little get-right game, get back in their groove here against the Giants. They'll beat them down pretty good.
I'm not going to say that's a lock of the century, but Dolphins minus 9.5 at home against the Giants secondary is pretty enticing. You're basically telling Daniel Jones that he has to go down into Hard Rock. I know how bad that defense looked this past week, but Daniel Jones is not going to put up 30-plus points, and I guarantee you Tua will put up 35-plus points against that defense. So it just matters how good Vic Fangio figures his shit out and puts that defense out there. But honestly, if you want me to take the floor about the Dolphins real quick, you can't. Liam Eckenberg is the worst offensive lineman I've ever watched in my whole entire life. There's like videos of him doing splits against the Bills' defensive line, literally just up into his lap every play. It was just bad. But again, I honestly, if you told me the Dolphins were going to go 3-1 in the first 4 weeks, going to LA, going to Gillette, and going to the Bills, I would tell you, you know what, I'll take 3-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a beatdown. It was a beatdown. I'll hands up, beatdown. But yeah, Dolphins money line. Well, I'm taking Dolphins in the pick'em, and I will probably be betting Dolphins minus 9.5. It's kind of a fan bet, but I also wholeheartedly I don't take Dolphins lines just to take Dolphins lines. I bet Bills this week.
Yeah.
I had Bills minus 3 this week. There's just no way we're gonna go in there without Jalen Phillips and without our starting center and go beat up the Bills. The Bills have one of the best defensive lines in the league. Just wasn't happening.
I respect your honesty. I do want to. So 2 questions. Number 1, you said you're gonna. Is that a cash money bet? Are you putting that on the record, or is that like a
Yeah,
like
you can put that on the record.
side?
Dolphins minus 9.5 on my first cash money bet. Honestly, I truly just don't believe that Danny Dimes without Saquon Barkley can go anywhere and put up more than 25 points. So, and I believe the Dolphins at home are going to put up another big number. So minus 9.5 seems pretty safe. I think it's actually pretty low. I think it should be 13.5. So.
That's fair. Second question is, obviously coming into that Bills game, the media loved, and I know you were on it because we've texted, and I know you were, like, where do you put the Bills? Because I still think the Dolphins, like a lot of people are already, I've seen them hopping off the bandwagon very quickly after that loss.
There's no need to.
They're still a top 5 team. Where would you rank, like, I think we both agree the Dolphins are a top 5 team. Where would you rank the Dolphins right now in that top 5? Because I'll give you my top 5 before you go. My top 5 right now looks like Niners are the clear and obvious number 1. I would say Chiefs are 2, even though their offense scares me a little bit. Like, the receiving core is not great. I'm going to go Chiefs 2 just because Mahomes and their defense looks legit. 3, I'm going Buffalo. 4, and I know you're going to hate this, I'm going Eagles. And 5, I'm going Fins. Do you think that's a fair ranking? I know you and your brother are both. You were really not high on the Eagles at all, but I think they're one of the best.
I told you I had Commanders this week. I had Commanders money line this week. Yep. I thought they should have won this game. I'm not high on the Eagles at all. I think their defense gets glazed. I don't think it's that good. You can't give up that many points to the Commanders' offense and think you have a good defense. Their offense, it's okay. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good. I think if you make him throw the ball, he's not that good. But my thing is I would go with those exact same rankings. I would just put the Cowboys in at 4 and the Dolphins in at 5. I think the Cowboys, the offense is better than it's their defense. Ooh. It matters what defense shows up.
That's true.
They've had 3 weeks where they had probably the best defense in the league, and they had that 1 week against the Cardinals where they just fell asleep. But you can't, sometimes you take weeks for granted and you get punched in the face, and that's just what happened.
Moving on to the next one, we got a little AFC North matchup. This is
actually one of my pick'ems locks of the week.
Really, I think
Steelers plus 4.5 at home.
Really, so it's Ravens Steelers of the game in the pick'em. I'm going Ravens. Are you taking just now in pick'em terms? Are you taking the Steelers to win the game, or are you just taking them to spread?
So I wholeheartedly believe they cover the spread. It's the Mike Tomlin factor. We know AFC North matchups. This dude just covers at home. I don't know why he does it. He could roll out middle schoolers, and he just covers at home. He's like 10-1 in the last 11 games,
and coming off a loss,
he's even better. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what it is about him, but Steelers plus 4.5. I would lock it. I'm taking it next week. It's just the Mike Tomlin factor. Yes, it's a cash money bet. This is when Mike Tomlin rolls out a football team, even with I'll retract my Joe Burrow statement right now. Even with the worst quarterback in the league, Kenny Pickett, they will cover plus 4.5.
Well, is Pickett playing? Because he got hurt in the loss this past week to Houston, so it's probably Mitch kissing titties.
Then plus 4.5 is even better. Even better. Remember, Mitch Trubisky was a playoff quarterback.
He was, and then when he was the Bills, when he was Josh Allen's backup, he looked pretty good when he came in.
Right.
He looked really bad last year with the Steelers when he started the year.
Anybody would. It's what's that? Matt Canada's offense.
Matt Canada.
He's the worst.
Are you going to take Ravens in the pick'em, or are you taking Steelers in the pick'em?
I'll ride with it. I'll take Steelers in the pick'em.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. I was gonna say your camera got a little fuzzy there. I think the camera got shocked that you took Steelers.
Yeah,
there.
I think it did.
You spooked it a little. There we go.
Yeah. I was like, what are you thinking?
And I agree with you here. If the Ravens do win, it's gonna be tight. It's gonna be like a field goal game.
Right.
Like I don't think it's a blow. And I don't even like the Ravens. I think the Ravens are kind of fraudulent.
The Ravens aren't that good either.
It's just I can't confidently bet on this. I can't confidently pick the Steelers team right now. They look their only 2 wins were against the Raiders and the Browns, and it wasn't even like the Steelers played good games. Just the Browns and the Raiders played worse.
Are awful. But here's my thing, right? Is everybody's like this. We're not the only 2 people in the world that are like, I'm never fucking picking the Steelers again in my life. Everybody is. So you know how much money is going to be on the Ravens this week?
Absolutely.
There's going to be a shit ton of money. There's going to be probably more money and more bets on the Ravens this week than the Steelers. They're going to have Vegas on their side. It's going to be Mike Tomlin at home. Just every factor that Mike Tomlin loves covering, the stars align. Plus 4.5.
I hate that you're saying all this because you know what? I so badly want to put Steelers as a cash money bet now, but I'm not going to take it. But I might take it personally though. I might. It's the Mike Tomlin. It's nothing to do with the Steelers. It's just Mike Tomlin.
Right. So it has nothing to do with it. Mike Tomlin can roll out. He can roll out the Baltimore Colts from 1980s. But as long as he's the I just spit everywhere. As long as he's the head coach of this team, he's covering at home off of a loss.
Yeah.
Especially a divisional game. I don't know why he does it, but he does it.
Those AFC North matchups. Yeah, I still think Baltimore wins, but it's going to be tight. It's going to be within a field goal. So I do think Pittsburgh covering is a good bet. Moving on to the next game here, moving along, we got Lions hosting the Panthers. I don't think there's a lot of thought process that goes into this one. No. I think Detroit wins. It's really just a matter of if they cover or not, but I think the Lions at home. Andy Dalton, I think, is going to be starting again for the injured Bryce Young. This Panthers team stinks. And
Right.
I'm going to come out here with a take, Spence, and I know it's early. I know
You're
Bryce
come out with
Young,
Bryce
he's
Young
hurt.
take already.
I think he's not good. I didn't like him coming into the draft, and I think the Panthers, them trading up for the number 1 overall pick for Bryce
Really
Young,
taking him.
it may go down as one of the worst draft day trades of the last 20 years.
Right.
Like, not only the fact that you gave up your own first-round pick, which right now is projected to be the 2nd overall pick, you also gave up a top 15, top 20 wide receiver in DJ Moore. That could have been a nice piece for your offense. Like, they gave up so much for a quarterback who, like, nobody was locked in. Like, up until draft day, nobody knew where he was going. Like, he could have went to number 2. He could have fell all the way to number 9. Like, nobody really knew where Bryce Young was going to go.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I'm gonna tell you that he is throwing to Adam Thielen, and he is throwing to DJ Chark. I get that. Andy Dalton came in and threw for like 300 yards 2 weeks ago when he was playing, but he also threw the football 60 times.
Yeah.
My mother throws her 300 yards throwing 60 times. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
But I get, because I'm telling you, two years down the road, if Bryce Young throws 60 times, he's going to reach 300 yards. It just matters if you can get those weapons back. You traded those weapons away. You have white boy Adam Thielen. No offense, he's just not the same guy he was before. He's also getting older. You have DJ Chark. He's kind of, how many teams has he been on now? This is his 3rd or 4th.
Something like that. And, like, the thing with DJ Chark is his at best, he's what, a wide receiver 3 or 4?
Wide receiver 3. You'd be ecstatic if you had him at wide receiver 3, but he's not. He's not a wide receiver 2. He's definitely not a wide receiver 1. So he just doesn't have. They have Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, so I guess he's okay.
Tight end 2 on the Falcons? Like, they just have like no pieces. They have Chuba Hubbard. Isn't that their starting? No, who they just
Miles Sanders.
Back? Oh, Miles Sanders. Yeah, I mean, again,
there's
reason why
they're not like. It's just the fact that, like, you could have stayed where you were with your draft pick. You could have gotten
absolutely.
I forget where they were drafting. I know it was top 10. I forget how far they traded down. I can't remember off the top of my head. But my point, they could have gotten Anthony Richardson probably. I think they were in a position where they were ahead of like they could have, and if not Anthony Richardson, like you could have punted on taking a quarterback this year. Like you could have taken something else. Like you didn't need to take
especially with Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Bo Nix on the horizon. Like you're gonna hit on one of them next year. But what are you doing?
Like I just don't understand. Like what was the pressure? Like what was the rush that you needed to trade up for number 1?
There was none. You're still rebuilding right now. You have no weapons on that offense.
Even if Bryce Young's healthy, he's playing well. Like this team's not good overall.
Right, they're not good. The Lions are not going to cover -9 though. If you want to get to there,
no, they're not going to. I don't think the Lions cover.
Way too much for the Lions.
Yeah, it's way too much. They're a good team, and I think the Lions. The problem is, I think a lot of people overrated them a lot in the preseason. Yep. Like they're a playoff team, and they're a good team.
100%.
But like the hype behind them just like got carried away, and like now people think like they beat the Chiefs week 1. And everyone's like, "Oh my God!" Like they're a good team. Don't get me wrong, but like they're not like I don't consider them a Super Bowl contender. They're a wild card. Well, they're going to win the division because the division stinks this year. But like,
that's what I was going to say. Because they're in the NFC North, they're going to get probably 4 wins out of 6 right there. That's 4 free wins. They've already beat the Chiefs, so there's 5 wins on the season. They just got to squeak out another 6 or 5 wins to get. Like,
and they're going to get one here. Like they're going to beat the Panthers.
Right.
I think that's actually going to be my lock of the week. I'm going Lions to beat the Panthers. This Carolina team does not excite me, and I think the Lions they have too much talent. The Panthers, the only way they're going to win games is if they beat teams that are like on their level. Like they could beat a Cardinals. They could beat maybe like a Falcons. I don't know. I can't see this Panthers team beating anybody that has a decent team. I just don't think they have.
They don't have a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So
they are playing tough. They're going to play tough because they have nothing to.
Absolutely, they're going to play tough all the time.
From losing.
But it's just not. They're not going to play Cardinals tough. Cardinals are tough to beat right now.
They are.
Even though they just got rolled last week. But
all right, let's go on to the next one. We got Falcons. We got Texans at Falcons. I thought for the longest time that Justin Fields was going to be the one to break the Ohio State quarterback curse. I don't think he's the one anymore, but I do think I know who the one is. CJ Stroud looks like a guy. Like he looks like a guy.
He looks like a dog.
In the last couple of weeks, he's played very well.
You know what? I actually feel great for the Texans fan base, just on the pure fact that they had the guy, and then their guy just ends up being like a touchy-feely guy. So you have to ship him off to the place where you ship off criminals, and that's Cleveland. But now they have another guy, so that's kind of nice.
And Will Anderson looks nasty on defense.
Right. Will Anderson looks good. Nico Collins wide receiver 1 apparently. He's
Yep.
disgusting. No, that team is good.
And
That team
D'Amico
is really
Ryan's
good.
he's doing a great job coaching them up too. Like
Yeah.
this is a team that like they're frisky. They're a frisky team. Like I don't
Right.
know. They're definitely a couple years away from doing anything of notice, but like they're not going to be an easy play at all. Like after that Week 1 loss to Baltimore, I thought, all right, I know what this team is. They have turned it around completely. Like they are a really good football team.
But on the other side is another frisky team. Their quarterback. I think they're probably the quarterback away team out of everybody because Desmond Ritter is not that good.
No, he's not the
But
guy.
they do have those pieces around him that make them stay in these football games. We saw it last year, though. We saw it last year when the first couple weeks with
Mariota,
they were playing good football for a little bit. The Falcons were.
And there's rumors they might go over to Taylor Heineke soon. Like I think they're very close to abandoning the Desmond Ritter project.
Yeah, it's you didn't invest much in Desmond Ritter. It's like, honestly, if I'm the Falcons, I saw a lot of things of trading for like a Kirk Cousins. Like I saw that.
Yeah,
which is
that could be
insane.
interesting. I just think this is such a quarterback heavy draft that like
there is
even if they don't get a
guys.
top 10 pick, like you can get. I mean, obviously the three that everyone talks about obviously is Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Bo Nix, but like there's going to be other guys. Like is Michael Penix, and I wish I had researched this before. Is Michael Penix going to be eligible for the draft, or has he got another year or two in Washington? He's really good at Washington.
Yes, he is really good.
He's really good. Like
that game is coming up quick. Oregon, Washington. I think it's in the next 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, and like Michael Penix could be a guy, and like you've also got someone. I know he's older, and I know that's a turnoff, but like Sam Hartman at Notre Dame.
Michael Penix is a senior.
All right, so he'll be in this draft. He's looked amazing this year at Washington. He's up there with Caleb Williams for Heisman talk. If you want to wait a little bit later, I'm sure they don't want to because they are a quarterback away. Like you could end up with like a Sam Hartman type. There's a lot of good quarterbacks, and we're missing I'm sure a ton, but like there's a lot of great quarterbacks. I think Spencer Rattler in this draft too. Like he's not really a sexy name, but
no.
you can take a flyer on him a little later.
I mean, I was gonna say Riley Leonard, but I'm pretty sure he snapped his ankle this weekend. So
yeah,
that was kind of sad.
Not great. But no, like this is going to be a solid draft class for quarterbacks. So like this is the time to take one. Or like I said, Kirk Cousins, he will be. I think if the Vikings keep losing, he'll be available for sure this offseason, if not during the season.
Because the Vikings might be looking for their next guy if Kirk Cousins can't get him to the playoffs. Because in their eyes, they look and they think they have that high-powered offense with Jordan Addison and Jay Jettas. But Kirk Cousins is that fuck it, Jay Jettas is down there somewhere type guy. Kind of like that throwback Matt Stafford, when Matt Stafford just kept chucking it up to Calvin Johnson and they weren't winning that much.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going Texans here. Are you going Texans or Falcons?
I'm going Texans.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy into the bait for a week. So
I think these teams are just even. Like I just think the Falcons and the Texans they're close enough where like it's anybody's game. And I just think Houston has that positive momentum. Plus, it is worth noting Atlanta is coming back from London, so like that is another element to it where like they're going to be a little foggy coming back from across the pond. Could play a role here.
C.J. Stroud gave that heart-touching speech after that win, where he's like, "I just want people to be proud to wear their Texans gear."
Yeah,
so
he's
cute.
great for that fan base. They deserve it. Like I said, after the whole Deshaun Watson mishap, they absolutely deserve it.
Right.
All right, moving along. Titans Colts, another AFC South showdown here. Colts are another frisky team. Anthony Richardson looks like they have a guy there too. He scares me a little bit because he does remind me of like Justin Fields from last year. Where, like he runs great. And, like he has the element as a passer. I'm not really sold on him yet, but the Colts have a good team. I mean, can you imagine if they had Jonathan Taylor right now? Like this team would be legit.
Exactly. Honestly, this is my stay away from game of the week.
Yeah,
it's
not even the Colts. It's that stupid Titans team that crossed the other side.
It's that Titans team.
I hate them. I hate them. I hate them with a passion. You just never like. You finally, I thought, like, after that Browns loss, all right, you could stick a fork in them. Like, they're done. Like, it's over. We don't have to worry about them. Like, I was ready to say on HGH last week, like, they're not a playoff team. It's over. And then they don't just beat the Bengals. They obliterate the Bengals. And it's like, I know the Bengals aren't playing well, but still, it's worth noting, like, the two teams they've beaten so far are the Bengals and the Chargers, two teams that a lot of people coming into the season would have put as contenders.
Right.
So, you never know what you're going to get with this Titans team. I'm going Colts. I'm probably going to be wrong, but definitely not betting this game.
No, absolutely not. I'm not going to bet it. I'm going to bet Colts just on the pure fact that it's at Lucas Oil this week. I'm pretty positive, right?
Yeah, and they're also positive momentum. Like they beat the Ravens in overtime.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Who did they just beat this past week? They didn't. They lost to the Rams in overtime, but they were getting dominated all the way back. forced OT, lost an OT, but this Colts team's frisky. I just think the Titans. I almost going to start betting on the Titans as if it's like every other week they're going to lose. So like they won last week. I think this is the week that they'll probably lose. So going Colts here. Next up, this is a big one. It shouldn't be a big game, but it's a huge game, and it's Bengals Cardinals. We're getting to the 4:00 slate. This is it for Cincinnati. This is their and it's crazy to think like their entire season comes down to this game. If they lose to Arizona, it's over. Because I don't know if you looked at their schedule, Spence. It is a gauntlet. Like the Eagles, I would say the Eagles are the other team that have like a gauntlet schedule, but the Bengals, just some of their opponents over the last 12 games after this one. Bills, Chiefs, Jaguars, Niners, Seahawks, Vikings, Steelers twice, Ravens, Browns, Colts, Texans. I guess I named all of their opponents, but like,
Yeah,
that
honestly,
that is their schedule. Like the only easy game is those AFC South Colts and Texans, and those aren't easy games.
I mean, you're right. Honestly, because they don't have. Honestly, they are not a good AFC North team. They don't play well against AFC North opponents.
Nope.
So.
And they've got 4 of those AFC North games left.
Yeah. So they basically go. They're home bye week, and then they're away on the West Coast at 49ers, and they're home. Yeah, it's just not good. They got 49ers, Buffalo back to back.
Well, and that's the thing. Their margin for error is going to be like if you're 1-4 already, you're odd. But like you're going to have to win out. Like you're going to have to win 9 of your last 12 just to have a prayer of the playoffs, and like that means you can only lose 3 games. And with your schedule, like, do you really think you're going to win 9 out of 12 when you have that schedule?
Here's my thing. Do you think a 9-win team can get into the AFC North playoff?
That's the thing. I think they could, just because the AFC North eats itself up. Like Baltimore right now is 3-1, but like I don't think Baltimore is going to run the team. Like they also have a difficult. They have the same. Like they got to play the Niners and the Seahawks, and they also have to play Jacksonville and all those teams. Now they don't have to play Buffalo or Kansas City because they weren't a first place team last year, but you know their schedule is not easy either. So
Yeah.
I think the Bengals, like if they lose to the Cardinals, I really don't know. They'll have to be flawless almost the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And with their schedule, it's not looking good.
I've told you I'm not a big fan of the check down Burrow. So, like, honestly, with people always shit on Tua for being injury prone, but this guy tore his ACL. Now he hurt his calf, and everybody's like, oh, but he has a hurt calf. Keep that same energy for every other quarterback in the league, then, you Bengals fans. Like, these guys all go out there with rinks and dinks, but, like, if you're marching him out there, I'm going to judge him. Like, that's just how it is. That's just how it is. And
I don't think it's just a quarterback problem either. Like, it's not just like he's obviously the big problem, but like it's a coaching problem. It's a roster. Like their defense isn't like their defensive line is good. Their secondary is not.
Their offensive line is still garbage.
Offensive line is still horrific. Like they have a lot of issues beyond just. I mean, Joe Burrow's injury is I think the thing that's causing it all to collapse on itself.
Right.
But like it's not just on him. It's on the team as a whole. Like Zach Taylor, this could be his last season as a head coach in Cincinnati.
Right. Honestly, you know me. I'm going to always put the blame on Joe Burrow, no matter what.
Okay. It's a Molkenthin thing.
It is, but...
I am going Bengals here, though, and actually my last cash money bet of the week, I'm going Bengals -3, just because I really do think this is like, you can't afford to lose it. This is the last truly easy game, the only really truly easy game you have left. You have to win it. I don't think you can go 1-4 and make the playoffs. Not when you're in the AFC North, and you have the schedule they have. So give me Bengals on the pick 'em, and I'll take them cash money bet -3. Who are you going with here?
I'll be that guy. I'll take Cardinals at home and a pick 'em.
All right.
I'm not going to touch it money-wise, but...
I respect it, because I do think the Arizona could very much win this game.
Right. You're taking it like this is like do or die for the Bengals. I'm taking it like the Bengals haven't done anything for me to say, yeah, Bengals away.
True. Fair. Very fair point. Next 4:00 game, we got Eagles, Rams. There's going to be a point soon where the Eagles are going to have a letdown spot where it's finally going to like pop. Because I agree with you, they haven't looked great.
Right.
I think it's going to be this week. I'm going to go Rams here on the pick'em. I think this is the week to the Eagles because the Rams they're not a great team by any means, but their offense they have enough pieces, especially on offense, where like they're going to put up points.
Cooper
and
Kupp
Matt
return
Stafford
game.
against this Eagles defense could put up points fairly easily.
Isn't this a Cooper Kupp return game? Wasn't week 5, but they said he was coming back?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Cooper Kupp does come back this week too.
So that is my cash pick 'em. Rams +4.5. A little bit of a hate pick, but honestly, I do believe that the Rams at home will be able to cover 4.5 points against this Eagles team right now. Again, it's just another team that just like when I watch them play these football games, they just don't prove to me that they can cover these larger spread. It's not even a big spread. It's just the fact that like they're going away to the West Coast, playing this Rams team that just came off of an overtime win against the Colts. They look decent. They're getting Cooper Kupp back. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the same field. Like, who knows? I just think that they're able to cover that 4.5 point spread.
I agree. Like I said, I'm taking Rams in the pick 'em. I think they're going to win this game.
I'll take the Rams in the pick 'em as well.
Yeah.
I don't even know how good I'm doing right now. I probably have all Hail Mary.
Quite a few biased picks in this week 1 pick 'em.
Hey man,
Listen,
I have the script.
bet with your heart. I agree.
I have the script.
All right, moving along here. We got a few games left. We got Chiefs Vikings in Minnesota. I want to take the Vikings so badly here because I do think they're another kind of like Bengals situation. Their backs are against the wall here at 1-3. I just can't. This Chiefs defense is legit, and Kirk Cousins. I think his time in Minnesota is coming to an end.
Right.
I'm going Chiefs. I'm not going to take them anything like I wouldn't bet on this game personally, other than maybe the over, and even that's kind of risky. But I go Chiefs here on the pick 'em. I think Kansas City will take care of business in this game.
So I got Chiefs, and honestly, if you bet anything, I do believe that you maybe the over, but Minnesota plus 5.5 at home, it's kind of enticing. Honestly, like I just think of it as in the world's eyes. Basically, a lot of money, a lot of bets are going to be at Chiefs minus 5.5 because nobody thinks the Vikings are good. So at home, I don't think they're going to blow the doors off this team, but I can't see it being like a 7 to 10 point game. But we also thought it was going to be an easy win last night when everybody had the Chiefs minus 7.5, and Zach Wilson comes out and marches 20 unanswered points. So you never know. But yeah.
All right. We're both riding Chiefs there. Moving on to another ugly game is Jets Broncos. We're almost done here. A couple games left. Jets Broncos. I am going Jets here. I think Zach Wilson showed a little something against the Chiefs. And
I just think the Jets defense is too good. It's too good for this Broncos offense to do anything. Honestly, I understand that it's in Mile High. It's in ride. What does he say?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Broncos. It's in Broncos country, but yeah, Jets is a good bet here. If you want to take them plus 2.5 to be safe, I never take those low spreads like that. No. Unless it's 3.5, I'll take it. But 2.5, it's like, just give me the money line.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I agree with you with the defense, right? Jets defense against this horrible Broncos offense. Like they had their best game against the Bears because the Bears defense is also terrible, and it wasn't even that good of a game. Like they didn't even play that good. My thing here too is that I think people don't realize like Zach Wilson. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I don't think he'll be the guy. He has been handed a little bit of an unfair hand though, in terms of their schedule.
Nathaniel Hackett. I was gonna bring this up. This dude
too. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett's a Rodgers guy, but more importantly, I think like people aren't talking about it. Zach Wilson, in the first 4 weeks, so he comes in against the Buffalo Bills, a top 10 defense.
Right.
Then week 2, he plays the Cowboys, a top 5 defense. Then he plays New England, who at the time was a top 5 defense, and then you play the Chiefs, who are a top 10 defense. He has played 4 of the 10 best defenses in the league in the first 4 games. Like, it adds to it. Like they don't have a good offensive line. And they're playing all these good defenses. For the first time now, he's playing one of the worst defenses in the league. Like I think he actually could go off a little bit.
Yeah. Honestly, I think you're right there, but I also do believe that Nathaniel Hackett being his offensive corner is big, like a roadblock, basically. Because he brought him in for Aaron Rodgers to have him as a puppet, basically. For Aaron Rodgers to run that offense and be that offense. So the fact that Nathaniel Hackett is now the offensive coordinator for Zach Wilson, we saw last year what Nathaniel Hackett can do with Russell Wilson. What do you expect him to do with Zach Wilson? Nothing. Like, literally nothing. This guy needs somebody that is willing to basically mold the offense around his play style, and it's just not. It's basically what I bet you Aaron Rodgers is his playbook.
That's it. Like that's the thing. Hackett is only good for one. Like when Aaron Rodgers retires, Nathaniel Hackett should be out of a job. Like that's it. Like, his career ends with Rodgers. Like it's all he has. So I agree with you. I think Jets win here. I think they cover any bets you want to put. I would bet Jets here. I'm so over this Broncos team.
If your heart desires to bet on a Jets Broncos game, you can bet Jets money line.
Exactly.
Maybe the over.
I'm so over the Broncos. I'm so over, and I was a Russell Wilson apologist, and like I mean, you heard me. I mean, I literally was texting you like, oh, they're gonna beat the Dolphins. Like this is it. This is when Russ wakes up. All right, 2 games left, both primetime games. This is the best game of the season by far, I think, up to this point. It's Cowboys-Niners. Obviously, it's an iconic rivalry, an iconic matchup. But here's the fact that these are actually two of the best teams in the NFL makes it so much better.
Right.
I'm going Niners. I'm going to keep going Niners until they prove me wrong. I think they're the best team by far. The only weakness is Brock Purdy, and if that's their only weakness, it's not a bad weakness to have. And I think the Cowboys here, they're going to force Dak Prescott to do something, and I don't think he can do it. So I'm going Niners here.
I think it's going to be the exact opposite, too. I do think the Niners are going to win here, but I do think that Dallas defense can force Brock Purdy to try to throw outside the numbers and maybe a little bit deeper down the field, which take away all your strengths, take away CMC checkdowns, take away the Debo checkdowns, take away the Brandon Ayuk over the middle. I understand you're trying to take away a lot of weapons right now, but if you can
a little Mike slippage.
If you can force, can you hear me again?
Yep.
If you can force Brock Purdy to try to force the ball down the field a little bit, maybe you force him in mistakes, because right now he's just able to. He plays in his comfort zone. He plays from that 5 to 15 yard range that Kyle Shanahan's special, and if you let him do that, he's just going to tear you apart. And that's honestly people are like he came in as the 726th pick. Is that what the last pick of the draft is?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. He was not bad at Iowa State. I don't know why.
No, he wasn't.
I don't know why everybody thinks that this guy was just a nobody. He had that Breece Hall him offense was pretty solid.
Yeah, I won quite a few bets betting on Iowa. That's why when I saw Brock Purdy, when they're like, "Oh, who is this guy?" I'm like, "Oh, I won quite a number of bets on Iowa State during his college career.
He's
he was a cover machine at times."
I don't think he'd be able to. He's never going to be able to beat you.
No, it's very much he's basically another Jimmy Garoppolo, where it's like, if you have the right pieces and you have a clean game plan, it'll be good. But the minute you ask him to go off script, the minute you ask him to carry you,
right?
I don't he hasn't proven that he can't necessarily, but I just don't know if he can. He
hasn't been asked to.
Yeah,
he hasn't been. I don't think he's been pushed out of his comfort zone once.
No, but that just speaks to how good the Niners are as a team, their roster.
It's beautiful, beautiful. Kyle Shanahan is probably he is the best coach in the NFL.
And then you go get Christian McCaffrey,
right?
You go get Christian McCaffrey and then Trent Williams. How I don't know how they keep getting. And then you think they couldn't get better, and then they go get Javon Hargrave in the offseason, and it's
right.
That
team is just loaded. They're loaded. They have the best coach in the NFL. They have top 3 weapons in the NFL. They have probably the number 1 defense in the NFL. They are just loaded.
If they don't win the Super Bowl, it's a travesty. I think they should be the odds on.
If they don't win the Super Bowl, they got to go get Caleb Williams.
Yeah, or at the very least Mac Jones. I know people laugh, but I think Mac Jones.
No. If Mac Jones was on that football team, they win the Super Bowl hands down. They are probably a minus 250 bet right now if Mac Jones is the quarterback. Guarantee it.
And that's what's crazy is they trade up imagine if they don't take Trey Lance. Imagine if they take Mac Jones there instead. If they didn't win a Super Bowl by now, they would have at least been in one by now.
Right.
In the last 2 years. It's crazy. I know people they all made fun of him when it was oh, they might take Mac Jones. No, he actually's perfect for that team.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised honestly if New England, because I think New England's going to move off of him. I really do. In the next couple of years. And I would not be surprised if the Niners call and say, "Look, we'll give you a 3rd round pick."
Yeah. I was just making fun of Miles the other day. For those who don't know Miles, he's a 49ers fan. I was telling him Brock Purdy a 1st and probably Brock Purdy 2 firsts for one of those Panthers picks. I mean, not the Panthers picks, one of those
Bears picks.
Bears picks. Who says no?
Yeah.
And he's like, I wouldn't trade Brock Purdy for 2 firsts with 2 firsts.
If you put Caleb Williams on that Niners team, oh my God.
You get either Caleb Williams or you get Drake May, and I guarantee your offense increases by probably 6.5 points a game.
If you put either Williams or Drake May in that offense, they're a 15-win team. They go 15-2 minimum.
Right.
They're already probably going to win around 13, 14 games with Purdy. And if you put a better quarterback in there, I mean, it's insane how good that team is.
It's not even it's a better quarterback. It's just a dude that can do more.
It's more about because that's the thing with Purdy is he can't really go off script. When you ask him to get out of his comfort zone,
his ceiling is very low. It's exactly what I said about Mac Jones when he came into the league. That his floor and his ceiling are so close together that you know exactly what you're getting week in, week out. It just matters if you put them in the right environment. And right now, Brock Purdy is in the right environment. But if Brock Purdy is here, Mac Jones is right here. He's not a country mile better than Brock Purdy, but he is He's a 1.5, two win better quarterback.
Yeah,
than
he can
Brock
do a
Purdy.
little bit more, not much more, but he can do a little bit more with his talents than Purdy.
Yeah, he can float. He can float in that 20-yard little over the top ball that Brock Purdy can't exactly do.
Yeah.
But
All right,
it is what
last
it
game here, last primetime, an ugly. We're going right back to the ugly primetime games. We got. I wish Johnny was here for this one. Packers Raiders in Vegas. I'm going Packers, not just because I'm an owner, and not just because I'm a resident Raider hater. I just really don't think the Raiders are that good. I don't think their defense is good. I don't care if Garoppolo comes back. I just don't think the Raiders are good. And like the Raiders are also in a situation where like they should be tanking at this point. Like, go get yourself a quarterback.
I don't know what you want me to say about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Packers are the obvious. Like, Green Bay's not that great. Like, they don't look that great, but they're definitely better than the Raiders.
Yeah, they're just more complete. They don't have as many holes.
Yeah. I think Jordan Love to me is like what you see is kind of what you get kind of thing where it's like, I don't think he's a horrible quarter. Like, I think he could be fine, but like you're not. I don't think the Packers have their next Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre. Like, I don't think this is going to be like, oh, we went from Hall of Fame to another Hall of Famer. Like,
Yeah.
he's someone
You
who
never
like
know.
I could see him being a starter for a long time for them and being like a Kirk Cousins type where like he plays for a while and he can win you games, but like I don't. It's only been 4 games to be fair. Like, I haven't seen enough.
Yeah.
But like just watching that Lions game, like he can make plays. He reminds me in a lot of ways of like Carson Wentz, where it's like I feel like sometimes he tries to do too much, and it's like if you just went simple, it'd be better. But I think the Packers are just their defense is legit. Offensively, they have more. The Raiders have great receivers, but that's about it. Like their offensive line, they showed that against the Chargers, is not great.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, that is it. We have all of our picks. And Spencer, did you have a lock for the week?
My lock for the week. I mean, if I had to put my life on the line for a pick this week, it would be Dolphins at home. But I'm not gonna. I won't be the fan bet here. I will. My lock of the week will be. Give me one.
I wouldn't blame you if you went Dolphins, honestly.
It makes sense. It honestly. What was your lock of the week? I apologize.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember. I think it was Lions. It was Lions against the Panthers in my lock.
I'll hold hands with you and I'll say Lions at home against the.
The Lions are the locks. Obviously, guys, Johnny was not able to be here for the debut episode, but we will have his picks posted. We will have his picks included here when that time comes. Guys, thank you so much for watching your first episode. We're just getting started. We obviously have some things we're going to improve upon as the season goes along. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will be posting content all year long. Obviously, we have our picks videos as it is. We have H2H. We have this show. We have so much stuff going on. Make sure you're subscribed. Follow us on Twitter at GuyBostonSports. Thank you so much. Spence, any last words before we sign off?
That's it, my man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This hopefully goes a long time again. We were 4 years running before, so hopefully we can keep this going for a long time.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Enjoy the week. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one.